Howard County, the home of innovation, progress, vision, and high standards, is also the home of champions. One exceptional champion is Larry Tyrone Hughes. Living in Columbia with his two daughters, Deanna and Felice, Larry has gone beyond the boundaries of what makes a champion. Competing in over 52 races, two of which were 367-mile marathons, he has pushed himself physically beyond what most of us would consider normal limits. Larry also has taken an active leadership role in Howard County as a champion for the disabled population. He is the founder of the Maryland Wheelchair Athletic Promotions Incorporated, an organization dedicated to providing physically challenged people with opportunities to broaden their lives through athletics. Additionally, Larry is an advocate and speaker for the Disabilities Awareness Project, a program brought into Howard County schools to teach students and others about disabilities and how to deal with them. Furthermore, Larry is a member of the Howard County Physical Fitness Commission. These achievements alone would merit the title of champion for even the most able-bodied individual, yet Larry Hughes has accomplished all of these things without the use of an able body. Leaving his hometown of Baltimore in 1967, Larry was called to service in the Vietnam War. This war, which left scars on our nation, also left scars on Larry that he will live with for the rest of his life. After receiving a shrapnel wound, Larry contracted systemic lupus, a crippling arthritic disease compounded by a disorder of his circulatory system. This condition caused Larry to lose the use of his legs, requiring the use of a wheelchair to help him get around. Upon returning home from the war, Larry soon found out that he had many battles still ahead of him, the first of which was ignorance of the general public regarding the disabled population.
When you come back and you have a disability, it brings on a lot of fears in some people. Some people could not deal with me from the mere point, now I'm disabled. So they didn't want to deal with that, period. Some people had already suggested to themselves that the only thing I'm going to talk about is my sorrows of being disabled. That's wrong.
And how wrong they were. Larry enrolled at the University of Baltimore. By 1983, Larry earned a master's degree in Management Information Systems. Larry, recognizing that many people have disabilities when it comes to understanding math, designed a computer program to teach math from the elementary level through calculus. This program removes the stress and tension that can build between a teacher and a student.
The computer did not pass on the frustration that a teacher might do to a student, because they've been going over and over and over something, and this person hasn't picked it up yet. So the teacher becomes a little bit intimidated, and she passes this on, and what happens is it builds up another barrier, another block on that person trying to learn it. So that person becomes a little bit more standoffish, and they don't get it. But with a computer, and a person can sit there and go in his own time and become satisfied with it.
This program won Larry the regional prize in a national computing contest at the Maryland Science Center. This and other accomplishments in school led Larry to a job with IBM. Larry had confidence in himself and his ability to do a good job for that company.
IBM hired me not because I was disabled to fill a quota. They hired me because I had something to offer the company, to help the company grow. And not only is that good for one's ego, but it showed me that I really did have some significance and value in a company such as IBM.
After joining IBM and settling into the daily work routine, Larry was determined to face his greatest challenge yet, wheelchair racing.
To some extent, I suppose I was a pioneer to break down these barriers, now allowing disabled athletes to participate, something that was totally new to some who had no idea that this was even possible. Some people thought that a guy in a wheelchair couldn't push his wheelchair a mile. we go beyond a mile. A mile is not even enough to start sweating.
Yet Larry does sweat. Racing in Europe and the United States, he has raised money for the disabled. His favorite race covers 26.2 miles, while his longest and most remembered is the Alaska Midnight Sun Marathon, which he raced in 1984 and again in '85.
For me, I found it a quite challenging race. It was a race that I became better familiar with who I was and what I was really made of. It was a 367-mile race from Fairbanks, Alaska to Anchorage. Started in the north and we came south. Mountains to go over, mountains to come down, run across the tundra of Alaska, over permafrost-type roads, and the different weather conditions. And I say this in jest, and I also found out what the state bird was of Alaska. It had to be a mosquito, because mosquitoes there were the biggest ones that I've ever seen in my life.
At the time of the race, it was no laughing matter. 15 competitors started the race, but only 7 finished. These athletes faced rain, hail, wind, and wild animals. The temperature fluctuated between 24 and 90 degrees. There were mountains 31 miles high, on which Larry reached speeds of 54 miles per hour coming down the other side. Descending one of these hills, Larry encountered yet another challenge. He crashed his wheelchair and broke both of his hands in the process. Doctors advised him to drop out of the race, but that was unthinkable for Larry.
So I listened to what the doctor said, and I told him there was no way that I was quitting. I had other people there in the race who helped me along. We removed these casts off my arms, and I continued to push. Some people may not have done it. Some people said I was crazy, but I did it for me. I didn't do it for anybody else. I wanted to find out what I was made of. It served as a purpose for me. It served as a measuring stick for me. It serves even today. And that was in '84. It serves today, right now, in '91, that anything else that I tried to do, no matter how difficult it was, I don't think that there was anything ever in my life that was as difficult as the Alaska campaign.
Other than racing, Larry participates in basketball, tennis, racquetball, and fishing. Sports give Larry the opportunity to channel his frustration and turn it into motivation. He works out at the Supreme Court Nautilus Center in Columbia, and he also trains on one of his own inventions called the bug roller.
The bug roller is actually a treadmill where a person utilizing a wheelchair, whether he be actively a road racer, a basketball player, or someone who's concerned about general fitness, they can roll up on a roller and work out. The same as if you were out there on the road. But the thing about the bug roller is it's going to take a lot more work on that than what you'll do out on the road.
The bug roller is manufactured with the help of McLean Cycles. It's sold throughout the United States and is the subject of a 5-year study conducted by the Shepherd Spinal Cord Hospital in Illinois. The roller helps build upper body and cardiovascular strength while enhancing physical and mental endurance. Larry also works out on the road and track, sometimes pushing his wheelchair 40 miles per day. He was training on the road in 1987 for a race in Connecticut when his athletic career was brought to a drastic halt. Larry was disabled again due to an accident involving a van. His neck, back, wrists, and elbows were injured, forcing him to set his racing career aside for a while.
At that point, it made me feel that I was really disabled because there was nothing that I could do. And because of my love of the sport
and misconceptions about disabled people. Many people without physical or mental disabilities do not understand or are not aware of the capabilities of a disabled person. Increasing awareness is where the Disability Awareness Project comes into play. This project involves speakers with various disabilities visiting the county schools to talk with the students about disabilities and show them that life does not have to be limiting because of a disability. The students and teachers participate in wheelchair athletics with the speakers and athletes, allowing everyone involved to see that disabled people are able to lead active, interesting lives. In order to make programs like the Disability Awareness Project successful, the speakers and athletes have to communicate effectively with the students and be flexible in their presentations. This encourages participation among the students. Larry has these techniques down to a science.
I'm going to give you another clue. It flies late at night. Yeah? Yeah, he flies late at night, but that's not what I'm looking for. Yes? That's it. Group B gets a point. A bat. What do we know about a bat? Tell me what you know about a bat.
They have radar.
That's it. This is a smart group.
What he does is he focuses on the positive aspects of being a person with a disability. He talks about sports. He talks about his work. He talks about getting involved in the community. He talks about having fun with life. And I think kids can relate to that. They're very much interested in what he has to say. And when he leaves, I think they feel better about themselves as well as about people with disabilities.
Larry is a source of encouragement for the people involved with the Disability Awareness Project and Maryland Wheelchair Athletic Promotions Incorporated. Other people also value his guidance and presence in their lives. Larry has worked as a personal trainer for many wheelchair athletes. This persistent hard work has paid off for all of the racers. One shining example is Ken Carnes. After a motorcycle accident left Ken without the use of his legs, he struggled through a hard period in his life. Larry helped Ken to see there is life after a disability. Ken realized he could be successful as a wheelchair racer. With Larry starting a training regimen for Ken, he entered and won races around the world. Win or lose, however, Ken has the competitive spirit within himself once more, and he gives Larry much of the credit for the return of that spirit.
He's always been there when I needed him, and support and get me into a lot of races, and with his past experience in his race, and he's had some tough luck, and he's stayed abreast in the sport with me, and he's got always little deals working here and there in the state to, you know, to open the doors for the disabled through athletics, and he's just been he's been great to know. He's a lot of fun. We have a great time together.
Ken's involvement in wheelchair racing has helped him get back on the right track. Larry sees a direct parallel between sports competition and a brighter personal outlook.
It makes a person who didn't have any self-esteem, it gives them a lot of self-esteem back. It also allows a person to grow in independence. So you change a person who was dependent upon someone else to help them get here, or think this, or do this. Now that person is becoming to be his own decision maker, which leads down to the road of being independent.
Larry Hughes has improved his life and the lives of many others through hard work and a deep personal belief in helping other people. The trend toward improving the lives of disabled people should continue with the passage of the Americans with Disabilities Act by Congress and the signing of the bill into law by President Bush. Now disabled individuals can enjoy more independence in many areas of life, including public transportation, employment, and housing, among others. The law gives people an opportunity to prove their value and increase self-esteem. Howard County government recognizes the need